you know you have an attitude problem?
Yeah, but it's just a little.
Hold the phone, Sylvester Stallone. You're not even the real King Cobra.
Radio Free Innsmouth, episode 428. This week, we're going to be talking about Saber Tiger, a name that may be familiar to quite a few of you out there, even those that aren't that heavily invested in old school Japanese heavy metal, as the original band of one Hide of X-Japan fame before he joined X-Japan. Some very solid, raw, new wave of British heavy metal influenced stuff. Definitely should appeal to anybody into classic 80s metal. And it's also not actually the band we're going to be talking about this week. Gotcha, bitch! No, we're going to be talking about the band that made that Saber Tiger change their name to Saber Tiger with a V. You see, the Saber Tiger that lots of people are familiar with for being the original band of Hide from X-Japan was from Yokosuka, and they started back in 1981. But also, in 1981, there was another much more prolific band from Sapporo, so way up north in Japanese Wisconsin, that was also called Saber Tiger. And they were like, hey, listen here, you Visual K fuck. That's our band name. And I guess the Saber Tiger guys were like, shit, alright, whatever, bud. We basically got like 2 or 3 songs anyways. Y'all some crazy motherfuckers got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 demos. You want the Saber Tiger name? You can have it. I got a feeling that our very good guitarist is probably going to join a bigger band anyways. And I also get the distinct vibe that our drummer is probably more into goth rock than he is heavy metal. Hey, look out! No, I don't know if that conversation went down exactly like that, but with the power of hindsight, I can pretend it did. But yeah, that happens a lot. You got multiple bands running around with the same name, and you gotta end up picking one to be your favorite. Like with Pentagram, Turkish thrash metal band's pretty cool. And the Chilean Pentagram is super neat and very important to the development of early death metal and early black metal. But there's only one pentagram out there that goes... And given how ingrained upon my very soul all of their classic riffs are, obviously the DC Pentagram gotta be my favorite. Now, if you know me, you know that I like a lot of this wacky Japanese Visual K weirdo stuff, and you're probably aware of the fact that I'm a pretty big X-Japan fan, so you might feel that you're justified in thinking I'm gonna go for the Yokosuka Saber Tiger over the Hokkaido one. Wrong! In fact, not only do I prefer the Hokkaido Saber Tiger over the Yokosuka one, depending on when you ask me what kind of a mood I'm in, I might like Hokkaido Saber Tiger even better than X-Japan.
Take care, Arbiter. What you say is heresy.
Now listen, give me 15-20 minutes to explain myself. And I guarantee, if you're into real metal, you're going to come out of this thinking, wow, this Hokkaido Saber Tiger, pretty fucking sick band, dude. There's something of a Japanese metal institution, having been around since 1981, and having gone through a whole bunch of different eras of their sound, with the sole uniting factor amongst all of them being the impeccable guitar stylings of one Akihito Kinoshita. And there's 2 eras in particular that I find to be my personal favorite of the voluminous Saber Tiger back catalog. The first one we'll be discussing is what you might call the underground era. You know, those 8 demos I was talking about. Demos and singles and goddamn almost like 2-3 albums worth of sick fucking songs back in the 80s before they even put a full-length album out. If you're into true heavy metal, you don't want to skip this. Don't be a fucking wiener. Don't be a nerd. This is the real shit, the true shit. Not for the hall levers and playing at 7/8 on the ampers amongst you.
Say that again, just like in one quick sentence.
All the fucking...
A quick sentence.
This is true Japanese power metal, and along with real old school American power metal, that's pretty much my favorite style of power metal, so I'm all about this shit. But the really cool thing about Saber Tiger is they don't quite sound like any other Japanese power metal band. They're a lot darker, they're a lot messier, but at the same time they're a lot proggier. One might say they actually sound like more of a USPM band than a lot of the more British or Germanic sounding stuff coming out in Japan at the time. Like, the riffing is way more twisted, dark and mystical sounding. It's got more in common with early Fates Warning than it does with Halloween. And we all know how I feel about early Fates Warning, so I like this a lot too. Not to say that it's a Fates Warning knockoff, or if these guys are even fans of Fates Warning. I just feel like they were channeling similar energy. Like, there's bits of stuff that sounds like Liege Lord, Crimson Glory, maybe even a little bit of Manila Road in there, just with how, like, crunched up and riff heavy and twisted the songwriting is. Real riff labyrinths going on here. And then Kenosha's guitars start to kick in. And it's not just solos, it's like a whole lead guitar event happening inside of each track. Kind of its own composition that exists within the larger song. Well, you got this big build up here, and then the solos proper kick in. And yes, that is solos, as in plural, as in with an S at the beginning and the end of the word. Because it's never just one guitar solo, it's like a whole bunch of different solos all running into each other. Maybe the rest of the band will come back for a little bit, and then like another totally different solo will happen. They're like as important to how these songs are constructed as the vocal lines are. And as you were hearing earlier on, the vocal lines are pretty fucking dope. I'm sure some ding-dongs out there are gonna be like, his accent's weird, the lyrics don't make any sense. Boo-hoo, motherfucker, I'm over here listening to Aria, alright?
I'm a medieval man.
The only language you need to know how to speak properly is the language of metal, and these motherfuckers from Japan's Wisconsin are fluent in that shit. Although, truth be told, the music itself has a very strange accent to it, if that makes sense. Particularly as you get further into the 80s with their stuff, the hints of prog just become full-on prog, full-on, I don't even know what the fuck to call some of this shit. 1987 rolls around, they put out this EP called Crush and Dush. Dush is not a real word in English or any other language that I'm aware of, but, you know, language of metal. Just make shit up, as long as it sounds heavy. But on this EP, homeboy Kenosha started just going really nuts with his guitar work. The only thing I can compare it to might be some of the really weird German stuff from the 70s, like Asherah Temple, if you're familiar with any of that. Just strange ambient type shit on these interludes that honestly sounds like it could have come off a fucking Mithras album. Real soundscape hours. But don't worry, he doesn't get too up his own ass with it. Because in between those interludes, we got monster fucking metal songs. And given the more prog rock adjacent approach of this EP, you can bet the riffs are going to be even more twisted. But at the same time, that shit is fucking clean. Speaking of which, Takayuki Takizawa's vocals this time around, super fucking clean. To the point where, yeah, I'm pretty much willing to admit that this particular 12-inch is my favorite of Saber Tiger's underground era. Like, they're just a fucking well-oiled machine. I could see people preferring that song I played earlier. That was off of the Rise EP from 1986. Due to its rougher, more US power metal adjacent kind of sound. But there's something about the really unique style on this release. It's almost like super technical hair metal at times. The approach reminds me of that third Crimson Glory album, or maybe even Jewel from the Netherlands. You know, that band from RFI, episode 206 that nobody fucking watched because it wasn't about black metal. That band's sick, and so's this release. I lost count. I think this is solo number 3, heading into solo number 4, jumping from Peace Cells era Megadeth style trade-offs into more shredding shit, and then into darker, more melodic, mystical kind of shit. Stuff that just has a real strong, central, almost vocal melody to it. Very lyrical style of soloing. But you know he's going to jump back into the shredding when he gets the itch. You know, if you like a good guitar solo, congratulations. That means you got your head screwed on straight. And it also means you're probably gonna like a lot of what Saber Tiger's putting out there. Cause Homeboy is all about busting out some sick fucking solos multiple times on each track. And he's also about doing some real weirdo shit. Like you heard that interlude-y kind of bit earlier. Other songs on this release actually combine that shit into the metal proper. And it's fucking awesome. This song right here is called Natural Sound, and I wish more shit naturally sounded like this. You got these weird new wave skitter-scattery guitar sequencer things going on. You almost might think you're listening to a Lunacy song for a second, but then those electronic elements give way to heavy fucking metal, albeit still very unique, very proggy sort of heavy metal, with this atmospheric build-up into a straight-up brain crusher of a speed metal riff. These heavy, thrashy palm mutes that do some Mighty Morphin shit into crazy, proggy bar chord stuff. Not much else out there sounds like this kind of shit. I feel like if this was put out by a band from the US or Europe instead of tucked away on some weird Japanese metal EP, people would be talking about it the same way they do about Korn or Voivod. I gotta say, Kenosha is every bit the guitarist that old Akira from Loudness is in terms of these just angular, strange riffs. And obviously those vocals are sick. I mean, are you hearing those? Dude's got fucking soul behind those pipes. And then there's this weird descending riff to bring us into the chorus, wherein you realize all that weird shit going on in the intro, that wasn't just there for the intro, it was predicting the floaty chorus riff that was to come. Alright, it's a very economically constructed song, despite all of its prog metal extravagance. Speaking of which, fucking guitar solos in your fucking face again. Multiple solos, multiple different styles of solos. Really dark, soupy, lyrical, neoclassical shit.
I'm a spiritual, lyrical, individual, spiritual, lyrical.
And speaking of that real lyrical, songwriting heavy approach to crafting these heavy metal melodies, this EP's got a slow song on it. I guess you could call it the ballad of the 12-inch, but it's honestly way too fucking heavy. There's a fucking heavy metal riff. Then you get a little shredding transition. Then you're back into it, same riff. Now it's got guitar harmonies all over the fucking place. Real dense fucking shit. And when those vocals hit, they hit fucking hard, going back and forth with those stabs of percussive guitar riffs. It'd be real easy to fuck this up, but Saber Tiger don't fuck these things up. They do it proper. They even bring in the fucking Rocky bass line. Check this shit out.
Balboa's so predictable and stupid. The man comes straight ahead. He's tailor-made for me, and he's gonna get hurt.
I mean, the Rocky 3 bass line is one of the most important aspects of 80s power metal. And that goes back to Black Sabbath. 80s Black Sabbath, that is. The shit that the posers don't know. Not only does Saber Tiger have multiple solos per song, this song's got like multiple levels of choruses. It's like the prog metal take on the power metal chorus. There's nested layers of choruses, all unfolding under this just like magnificent martial trudge of riffs. And the solos then come in, and they proceed to tear shit up quite fucking magnificently. Starting out with a very bold ostinato of shredding, setting the stage for some of the best guitar harmonies ever.
Yeah, buddy.
If this shit don't got you gritting your teeth and raising your sword, you might want to consider attending some sort of male enhancement clinic, because I think your shit might be busted downstairs. You dig? So that underground demos and singles era of Saber Tiger, fucking sick. A little bit hard to get a hold of this shit, but there is a compilation CD called Paragraph that gives you the best versions of pretty much all the classic 80s Saber Tiger songs. That's the comp I've been pulling from. Just treat it like an extra long full-length album, alright? More bang for your Discogs dollar.
Doesn't matter. It's money that makes the world go round.
Today I'm gonna be doing a Mr. Krabs voice impression part 2, so...
The other era of Saber Tiger's lengthy oeuvre that I wish to discuss with you this evening, we'll call it the first full-length album era. Those first 3 full-length albums that came out at the dawn of the 90s through to the mid-90s, where on vocals, instead of Takayuki Takizawa, you had Yoko Kubota. That's right, a chick, a skirt, a broad, but she's not really doing your standard Japanese chick metal vocals.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I mean, I own a whole shitload of Aphasia and Lightbringer and Unlucky Morpheus albums. And like every red-blooded American male of sound mind, I think Mayajima's pretty sick. But homegirl Yoko ain't doing those. Her approach is a lot closer to Kazue Akao from Terra Roses. Real powerful 70s metal kind of stuff, which works great on all 3 of the albums she's on for Saber Tiger's very retro metal style. We're talking about Invasion, Agitation, and my personal favorite of the lot, Timystery.
What manner of man are you that can summon up fire without flint or tinder?
There are some who call me Tim.
Look, it's the word time and the word mystery slapped together. I guess you would say it like time mystery. The mystery of time. For me, this is the best Saber Tiger full-length album. And I finally managed to get a copy of it thanks to a fella helping me navigate those Japanese Yahoo auction sites. One of the regular viewers of the Hate Bus live stream. Broadcasts every Thursday on Odyssey and Rumble and formerly on DLive, but that website ain't around any fucking more. Links are in the description. Come watch us goof on car crashes, internet mutants, and Japanese YouTube camping videos. Yeah, but special thanks to that guy for helping me finally get a hold of a physical copy of this album, because it's one of the greatest power metal albums of all time. No qualifiers, no bullshit. This stuff feels like a refinement of their demos from the 80s. It doesn't have all the weird krautrock psychedelic shit on it, but the metal itself is much sharper. Real polished proggy power metal here. And these fucking vocals. They've got a real mysterious quality to them. Maybe somewhat comparable to, I don't know, Graham Bonnet. A little bit of Dio in there too. Lower pitched than you would expect for a female vocalist, but still recognizably feminine in a way. And they're definitely very powerful, battle-like kind of vocals. They play off of Kinoshita's guitar riffs perfectly. Speaking of which, those are as awesome as you would expect, particularly during the chorus section of this song. It gets real bendy, weird little bursts of shredding and sweep picking mixed into the fuller chords. A lot of cool string bends on this album as well, too. And as you would expect, the lead guitar parts are as great as they'd ever been. You know, he's bringing back that thing where the solo kind of becomes the main event with its own build-up section, leading into the different trade-offs, various styles of guitar leads, real strong sense of melody. It's what you would have come to expect from Saber Tiger if you've been paying attention to the first 15 minutes of this episode, alright? The solos here are fucking sick. But the sickest thing about this album is my personal favorite song, the album opener. It's entitled No Fault, No Wrong, and damn, dude, this is like one of the best just balls-to-the-wall heavy metal songs of all fucking time. If you don't know this one, you're missing out. I'm actually going to have to go with longer samples than is usual for this song to show off all the different cool stuff that it does, because there's so many great ideas crammed into about 6 minutes. For starters, you got this aggressive, kind of thrashy beginning going into a vaguely Middle Eastern flavored lead guitar section. Almost sounds like something you might hear from early Therian, but in a heavy metal context instead of a death metal one. And then we get into what kind of passes for verses in this song. I say kind of passes for verses because the structure of this one isn't necessarily slaved to your typical sort of power metal structure. There's kind of verses, there's kind of choruses, but it's a lot more amorphous and malleable. A little bit all over the place, while still remaining entirely memorable. Also, this chorus. Like, bro, did you hear those double-layered vocals there? So fucking intense. One of the best heavy metal vocal performances of the 90s, and the way she sings us into the solo here is just total king shit, or I guess queen shit. And then this first solo, just liquid fucking finger shredding. Fucking awesome power metal, but the follow-up solo section takes a turn for the dissonant, for the strange. You got this kind of chugging mechanical riff under it that eventually morphs back into a percussive sort of start-stop variation on the intro riff of the song that then morphs into this just, again, very mechanized Zero the Hero kind of riff. And this whole thing will be very important for the song's final act, wherein we kind of turn into a whole nother song for a little bit. Real power thrash. And it just gets weirder with all these bendy bits and gang vocals. And Yoko's kind of going back and forth with the fellas in the band, just yelling all kinds of crazy shit. Before we bring back, again, the best chorus of all time. This fucking double vocal part, turn that shit up. I don't know how you could not like this if you're into real heavy metal. It just hits so fucking hard. And then here's where it goes back to almost turning into another song, very Dio. You get this whole kind of like ending to the chorus section that goes into a completely new direction. And then these fucking guitar harmonies hit after the double vocals. It's just the best shit ever. Alright, that's Arch Era Fate's warning level of properly done emotionality in a heavy metal context. First time I heard this, it was like when I was a little kid hearing Metallica and Megadeth and Iron Maiden for the first time, man. Same fucking feeling, goosebumps, hair standing up in the back of your neck. And honestly, if it ain't doing at least something approaching that for you,
go to the ear, nose, and throat department. Get your hearing checked.
Because this is what metal's all about. And that's why Saber Tiger's fucking awesome. And hopefully, I managed to convince you of how awesome they are over the course of this episode. But hey, even if you hated all that heavy metal goodness, thanks for listening or watching, whatever the fuck you did. And hopefully I'll see you next week with some more of that good shit.
How can you justify destroying a $7 million mini-mall to rescue a girl whose ransom was only $25,000?
Fuck you, lady!